Here are 3 tips on reducing fear and anxiety, which can be rife right now, which can be quite high in times of uncertainty. So the 3 tips I want to talk about. Firstly, it's to do with control. Secondly, it's to do with not being so hard on yourself. And thirdly is a breathing technique that you can use. So fear and anxiety. Fear is something that we're not born with. It's something that we create in our head. We learn to conjure up these feelings that manifest themselves in terms of fear and anxiety in the body, in terms of worrying about things that may happen, extrapolating out what we think is going to happen, and basically living that out right now. That's what fear is, and the anxiety as well, which is closely linked to the fear. It's about thinking about something that hasn't actually even happened yet and worrying about that, and how the anxiety and the fear is how that manifests in the body itself, in terms of feeling like you're being closed in on, feeling like you don't have control, feeling anxious, feeling like tight, and feeling fearful, which comes out in your body in terms of you're reduced to this feeling of fight or flight kind of thing. You're on tenterhooks possibly, or you're just constantly worried, which brings up things like your stress and cortisol levels, which when exposed to for short periods of time is a good thing in terms of the fight or flight response, because it readies the body for something that may happen. However, for prolonged periods of time of stress, fear and anxiety, and the associated levels of, say, cortisone and other stress hormones, it's not good for the body, because you're forever in this fight or flight state, rather than in the reparative, restorative and calmer state. So 3 tips that I find can help you, or 3 techniques that I find can help you to reduce this fear and anxiety. The first thing is switch it in your head to think about the things that you can actually control, and also really question where the fear is coming from, and more importantly, whether it's actually true, right? I'm kind of borrowing from Byron Katie's work here. Really good book, actually, I recommend. But basically, you have to question whether the fear or the belief that you have is actually true. Is it 100% true? Is it possible that it's going to happen, say, with this fear and anxiety that you might be feeling with what's going on right now? Is it 100% true to you? Okay, is it 100% possible that it's to happen to you? All right. So the first thing is switching it in your head in terms of, instead of focusing on and spending all of your energy, time and focus and effort on the stuff that is out of your control, look at what you can control. Okay, that's the first thing, or the first tip that you can use to reduce that fear of what could be, of the anxiety that brings up in the body. So control the controllables, control the stuff that you can determine, that you can have an impact on. So simple things right now, like limiting your exposure to how much news you're reading, or how much you listen to all the scaremongering and fake news and negativity. That's another thing that you can control. there are so many things that you can control versus a lot of the things that are out of your control. But if your focus is on the stuff that you can't control, then you're always going to feel like you're out of control. Whereas there are so many things that you can already impact on and have control over. So that's the first tip to reduce your fear and anxiety. The second tip is to not be so hard on yourself. There's such high expectation right now in terms of everything that we are having to deal with, and we set our own really high expectations in terms of thinking that we have to be able to thrive in this situation. It is okay to be struggling, to feel like things are hard right now, or that, thriving is potentially the last thing you want to do right now. It's okay and it's totally natural to feel overwhelmed right now, and it's about accepting that feeling and potentially asking for help. There are millions of people around you that are more than ready to help you, but everyone's thinking about their close-knit family and friends right now. We've been thrown into this situation where everyone's affected, but everyone's thinking about who is impacted within their circle of friends and stuff. And unless you ask for help, unless someone knows that you are asking for help, then they're never going to know. So it's about not being so hard on yourself. This is tip 2, and taking that step, being brave to ask for help when you need it, because there are so many people out there more than willing to help you in whatever situation you're in. That is the beauty of the human nature of this situation that we're all in. So that's the second tip on reducing your fear and anxiety. Don't be so hard on yourself. It's okay to feel not okay, and ask for help. And the third thing is a simple way of breathing, really. The third tip is to do with your breathing, and at a micro level, at a literal level of just stopping and breathing is going to instantly impact the way that you feel at any given moment. So when you feel the anxiety and fear starting to rise, if you've already done the not being so hard on yourself and the switching your focus to what you can control, the third thing is you can do some breath work, which is going to help you bring those stress levels down and switch you into the parasympathetic state of your body, where you are going to feel much calmer straight away. And one way of doing it is breath work. There are many different techniques that you can just look up, but the one I like to use is the 3-6 breathing. So it's where you take 3 seconds to breathe in through the nose, and then 6 seconds to breathe out through the nose. So there's 1, 2, 3 in, 6 seconds, breathe out. If you do that like 10, 15, 20 times, you'll find that your fear and anxiety and general levels of heightened stress are going to calm down. So there are 3 tips that you can use to reduce your fear and anxiety at a time when so many people are feeling this right now.